Hey everyone, Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Raid Shadow Legends, and I am on the test server. We have the Iron Twins Fortress here, stage 15, and we are talking Force Affinity, guys. Keep in mind the affinities are going to matter. You're going to have a couple different teams that you probably use, although to be fair, I'm sure some people are going to figure out some really great all affinity comps, especially using a bunch of Void champions, but I don't have a Krisk for one, and he, I can tell you right now, is going to be huge for this boss. Amazing. I also don't have like a Nekmothar. That's someone I really wish I had. But yeah, I could definitely put together a super OP team full of all voids, but that's not what we're going to do today. Today I want to show you guys something a little bit more relatable. We're going to use Deliana. She is the key. She has a decreased resistance debuff. And there's not many people in this game that do that. There's only 3 right now. Maybe more with new champions coming out, but not yet. Not yet. So she is the key here. The boss resistance is very high at stage 15. So, I mean, we're talking you need over 500 accuracy. No joke. And Deliana has a nice passive that allows her to get extra accuracy based on her HP. So she's actually pretty easy to build with high accuracy and make sure she can land that decreased resistance buff. And then I have Tomb Lord here. He is my decreased speed consistent farmer here. Well, farmer. Consistent debuffer here. He's going to be very important for this team. You can use other people like Nekmothar. Mother Sybil was okay for me for this, but a little bit more risky. That comp didn't do as well. Or, of course, there's champions like Krisk as well. But there's a lot of people that place decreased speed, and that is going to be important. A budget-friendly version might also be Stagnite with decreased speed on his A1, plus decreased attack and decreased defense is not going to hurt as well. Tomb Lord's bringing some poisons, though, so I really like that. We have Ukko here. This is the new Fusion Champion, guys. I'm super excited to be using the new Fusion Champion. They bring a 100% chance to land decreased accuracy, so that's what we want to see here. Decreased accuracy as well, because all of the stats of this boss are high, and this boss is harder than expected in that regard. Trying to get the resistance needed to actually resist everything from this boss, it's not happening. So if we want to resist a little bit, you might want that decreased accuracy buff. Although I kind of went with a strategy of not worrying about the accuracy or my resistance in the end. To be honest, it wasn't as it's important. It can be, that could be a strategy, but you could also try to avoid it. And luckily we have the leech from Deliana to heal, so I did okay, even though we were getting some debuffs thrown at me. Even though we had those big old stacks of Iron Brand on us, it's okay. I ended up getting by. We have Geomancer being the beast with the damage here. You can see that damage count. He is my beast. His passive is so good, and weaken, HP burn doesn't hurt itself on its own. Plus he has also a decreased accuracy. And I turn off his A2. We have a Helicath here. He is, oh my goodness, like he pretty much makes this unkillable. I'm sure this can be tuned to be, well, I want to say this could easily be tuned to be unkillable. It could, but the rest of it gets a little messy because of the boss cleansing. So if you're relying on anything like debuffs, like a decreased speed, it is a little bit messy, guys. Just keep that in mind. The boss cleanses at a few different points, and depending on where your damage is at those points, you might get your tune a little bit out of whack. So let's take a look at what we have here, and I'll show you the run, and I will show you the stats. All right, so I'm going to go in and do another key to show you guys, but I'm going to first show you my AI. So I have this set with Deliana prioritizing landing her decreased resistance debuff. This is super important. This is the key. She has 420 accuracy, also paired with her passive that gives her more. So because I have 80,000 HP on her, that gives her 160 more accuracy added on top of that. So we have 580 accuracy on my Deliana. She's landing that, goddammit. But you'll be surprised. You'll see if the decreased resistance gets cleansed with everything else and people try to land debuffs, they don't, even at these higher levels of accuracy I have on some of these champions. I do have everyone above 250 speed as well. And we did lock out her block buffs because that's not necessary. So we have Tomb Lord here. I did lead with his decreased speed. He is important, of course, for this. You really need to have decreased speed on that boss or else he gains turn meter every time you put a buff on, and you don't want that to happen. Let me actually get myself a little bit more out of the way here. Okay, so you can at least see who I'm clicking on. So I actually locked out, even though decreased defense is not part of this team, otherwise I just have weaken. I was too worried about the decreased speed being kept up the whole time. I wanted to make sure that was prioritized. So I actually went with the damage from poisons instead of the decreased attack, decreased defense. So this is something I might experiment with. I might turn this off and turn this one on. I might play around with this as well and see the differences. So that's something you could try as well if you're using Tomb Lord. Again, you could also use Stagnite for the decreased speed on his A1, just same thing. Make sure he prioritizes the A1 when you first get started for as your opener, or else you might be screwed. We have the mighty Ukko here. He's so great. I love this character already. I have him opening with the decreased accuracy just to help, so we have a chance at resisting for some of my comps that actually had some resistance on people, but the accuracy is high of this boss, the resistance is high of this boss, so it's really hard to actually build a team to handle both things. Unless you want to do like 500-600 accuracy, 500-600 resistance. It's a lot. And here we have Geomancer. I did turn off his A2 because it's not needed as well. And we have the A1, of course, but it's all about this passive and this HP burn here. If he's under HP burn, you have that reflect damage happening, and it's nice, and that's where all the damage comes from. Helicath here is so good as well. I have him opening with the shields. Now I don't know if he opens with the shield on like automatically or not, but I did have him start with a shield and then go to this. But actually, oh no, sorry, shield. I always see the shields and I always get it confused. I have him opening with the block damage just so we start off not losing any damage from the first round. But the shields always throw me off every single time. I swear to God, I always think this is the shield and this is the block damage just because it's a shield. But yeah, I think my order here is Deliana has the fastest champion, and then we roll into Mighty Ukko and Tomb Lord actually. Tomb Lord, which doesn't really matter which one. I think we're okay here. And then Mighty Ukko, Geomancer, and Helicath you want to make sure they're last for sake of the passives and stuff. But I was using Mother Sybil, and she kind of boosts herself a bit, and I actually realized I had her in a Relentless gear, and that's not good when you're dealing with something like Helicath with block damage and shields where you don't want them to drop off on you. So I needed a more reliable decreased speed than Mother Sybil, so that's why I went with Tomb Lord. So let's actually take a look here. Let's do a run. I can't promise this is going to succeed. I've only done it a couple times. I don't know if it's reliable. That's just the truth. There's that decreased resistance, decreased speed, decreased accuracy, and HP burn, weaken. We don't need block buffs, but it's fine. I don't think we need block buffs. Am I forgetting anything? No, I'm not forgetting anything, am I? No, I'm not. Okay. It's so interesting starting with a brand new boss that we have to learn to tune, right? I don't know the exact stats of the boss guys yet. I'm sure that'll go on Hell Hades' website too for the stages tool. We'll find out exactly what the speed is, the resistance, the accuracy, and everything. But I can tell you, it's a bit rough to just straight up get the stats, which is why the decreased resistance is super important for this boss. Deliana, I'm definitely going to be using in at least 2, if not 3, of my comps, and I'll probably have to build someone else. For sake of, I mean, actually there isn't. There's only a couple people. I might have to try to use Deliana, but she's the wrong affinity for Spirit. I don't know what I'm going to do for Spirit. Spirit might get messy. Oh boy. We might just have to really rely on high accuracy on everybody, really high accuracy on everybody. Oh God. Oh God. And accuracy aura. Maybe for sake of Spirit, I'll have to rely on an accuracy aura. Because it's not fun. But you see how fun this is. Such a good comp. The extra poisons from Tomb Lord are nice. The boss does cleanse every time you hit certain points of damage done to him, so it does get a little messy when those cleanses happen. So that's, you see, sometimes I didn't have decreased speed up the whole time because he cleansed it earlier, or depending on your run there with Deliana. See, look, we just cleansed and now I have no decreased resistance. If Deliana doesn't place that next, nothing else is going to land. See, everything's getting resisted. We really rely on Deliana placing that debuff. And when the cleanses happen, they kind of happen randomly. There we go. Perfect. So we should fall back in line okay here. But it gets a little messy if the timing of the damage is just a little bit different. You know, it's a little bit RNG in that respect. But I'm sure you can get some consistency where, like, find a team that's going to do fairly consistent damage, and then you'll know if things are happening at weird times. Maybe you can adjust your damage. Maybe you can change your AI so that maybe Tomb Lord is not doing poisons. Instead, he's doing decreased defense and attack, for example, in this team. So I just wanted to showcase one team. This is the first team that I'm like super happy with so far. I was going to showcase the one with Mother Sybil as well, but it was way too unreliable and risky. And I feel like this one is just so much more reliable and consistent. You can see the times were different. Like, I couldn't believe how fast the other one was. 153 was the last one I did. Everything just fell into place perfectly. And I feel like the cleanses from the boss when he hit the certain points of damage from his passive here, they kind of worked at perfect times. So the exact same team, no changes, 153, 3 minutes. I think that's okay. I'm not going to complain. This is a new boss. We're still learning. We're going to be able to perfect our teams. And this team is really, really great. So let's get to it. I'm really happy also that can include the brand new Fusion Champion. I know nobody has him yet when I'm putting out this video, but at least it gives you motivation to see how well he can perform in this context. So actually, I didn't get to show you how good he can perform, did I? In the sense, because no one died, did they? I don't think they died. He actually has this great skill here for reviving. Oops, not that one. The revive all dead allies with 40% HP and places block damage on them. So he's a reviver at the same time, and he also brings these amazing debuffs. Like, this is so good. And decrease attack. Like, to have a reviver that also brings these debuffs is awesome. I'm so excited for Hydra for this character, and to see that he's solid for the Iron Twins. And he can steal buffs, and then they become protected. It's so cool. I love it so much. He also has a speed aura in all battles. So I guess we'll start with him. He is the new Fusion Champion, Mighty Ukko. He is amazing. I love him. He's so cool. Really, really good art here. And I think I even have my graphic quality turned down to low, and it still looks amazing. But I have him in a couple Immortal sets. Everyone I focused accuracy and HP on. So he's got 84,000 HP to survive, 2,000 defense. I didn't really worry about defense, just kind of whatever happened with defenses. Honestly, I focused everything HP. Well, except Helikath because shields. Over 250 speed, like I said. For boss 15 here, guys, keep in mind you're starting out at the lower levels. Things are not going to be tuned the same. If you try to, but it doesn't hurt. Try to build your champions for sake of getting to stage 15, because you can just manual them. You can manual the runs getting there, and then once you're at stage 15, if everything is already built and ready to go, well, you don't have to do much, do you? You just know that the AI is not going to work at the lower levels because the speeds are going to be different and everything's going to go out of whack. So keep that in mind. All right, we have accuracy at 388. That seemed to be enough as long as the decreased resistance buff was up. But again, that's what we are relying on, the decreased resistance debuff. This is the most important thing in this whole team. I could throw in someone else to protect. I could throw in Valkyrie for shields. I could throw in, I don't know, Brogni for his big shields. And block debuffs is going to help. I could throw in Duchess maybe for damage mitigation, and Val for her passives. Maybe that'll help. But at the end of the day, this is what we needed. Like this role, there's only a few people that can do this role, and she's really, really good for it. So like I said, I'm a little bit worried about what I'm going to do for Spirit now that the boss resistance and or accuracy is so high. The accuracy and resistance are really high, to be clear. But that's okay. Oh, oops, sorry. I realized I did not show my masteries. So here is our masteries. Down to War Master, and then yeah, these are, I think I actually gave the same masteries to a couple people here. All right, Deliana, same masteries here. I did book my Deliana. I'm definitely going to get her going on my main account now. I got to dust Deliana and take her out of the vault. I'm actually quite excited for this, to have a good use for her. besides, like, for end game purposes. This is end game. This is the highest level of Iron Twins. And here we are using Deliana. So she has decent resistance, so that way when the decreased accuracy buff is on the boss, we actually have a chance to resist those other debuffs that are thrown at us. She has solid accuracy as well, because, again, keep in mind, it's this passive. She gets 2 accuracy for every 1000 HP on her. So she really has a lot more, right? She really has 580 accuracy. So keep in mind when you're building for the level 15, it is hard to hit these numbers. 250 speed, 500, well, I think 550 plus accuracy. Whew. That is rough. So keep that in mind. And that's why she's really valuable. You'll be able to build stuff a little bit easier. So yeah, I do have her. She was the fastest champion, 80,000 HP. And yeah, let me go back. I wanted to go back to that quick because I don't know if I stayed on that very long. Next we have Tomb Lord. I love Tomb Lord. So as you will notice that, you know, they kind of encourage you to do, oh, it's force and use all force champions. But at the end of the day, the strong affinity people are going to land their debuffs. They're going to do more damage. It's okay. We realized it's definitely okay to use different affinities. You just have to know that little bit of a risk in there. We have Tomb Lord in regen set. He probably could be in a different set as well, as long as we have that leech going on. But Tomb Lord has solid HP, okay defense as well, over 250 speed, and then 358 accuracy. So again, this accuracy is not high enough unless we have the decreased resistance debuff from Deliana. So that's the case for everybody. And I did, like I said, I tried this with the poisons instead for damage, but I probably should go in and try for decreased defense instead as well and see if we get a different time. So maybe that's something we'll do at the end. But his masteries are down with Giant Slayer because he has a multi-hitter on his A1 3-hitter. And then, yeah. Oh, actually, this is not good. I need to... Actually, it's okay. It increases his speed for each dead ally. And with him, if he fell out of tune, it's not going to be a big deal. And ideally, no one's going to die, right? Ideally, no one's going to die in this comp. That's what Helicath is there for. Speaking of Helicath, he's so fun. He's the slowest one on the team. I do have him with decent resistance because I was worried about... he was the one I was worried about because of his defense. Oh, sorry, I thought my mic was cutting out. His defense is the highest, so he's going to get the biggest stack on him. So I was a little bit worried that he was going to take a lot of damage. So I thought I could try to resist it, but it's not enough. 500 resistance is not enough. Whatever. Let's just pretend that's not the case. But it helps. I actually never finished his masteries. That's fine. Yeah, but the way I used him, it was okay. It worked out all right. So he is down to more mastery as well. I just realized that. That's super funny. And I do have him booked carefully, guys. I do not don't book the cooldown, so that way it has the same turns as this. It just makes it easier so everything can fall into place better and kind of stay in the same rotation. So Helicath is here for the damage. He has block damage. He has that big shield. He is really good. And hey, he was free. He was a fusion champion. And then who the hell else is in my team? Geomancer. He's my damage dealer. So my Geomancer that I used here, I rebuilt for this specifically. He is high accuracy and then over 250 speed as well. And then, yeah, same thing. Trying to focus HP for like gloves and chest and then getting 2,000 here. So one thing I actually realized that I messed up. I forgot. I need to mention this, guys. Fix this. I forgot. My bad. Tomb Lord. I'm showing off Tomb Lord. He needs 100% crit rate, guys. He needs 100% crit rate. He only places as if this attack is critical. Bruh. I think that's what happened in my second run. I had changed gear, and I forgot to give him crit rate. If critical. Bruh. Let me fix that really quickly, actually. Okay, guys, that looks better. He has 100% crit rate now. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot to... I realized that after I did my run, when I was looking at things, but then I forgot to change it. Oh gosh. Well, it's fine. It worked anyway, right? Oh, we all make those silly mistakes. But yeah, anyway, Geomancer was my key. Did I even show Geomancer? Yeah, I did. I did. Okay. Okay, Geomancer and Masteries. So it's super funny, man. Silly things that we don't even notice that we do. But yeah, this was a really great run. I'm gonna go see if I can do another run and make it any faster with the proper crit rate on Tomb Lord. I'm also gonna go change the skill preset and see what happens and show you guys the result real quick at the end before we get off. And to wrap this up here it is. I did change Tomb Lord's priorities there and turned off the poison and turned on the decreased defense and decreased attack, and it was pretty good time. I think this felt really solid. I actually did the other one again and it was really risky and we almost wiped. But yeah, this one felt a little bit more solid, honestly. So I think the decreased defense enabling everyone else to do a little bit more damage might be more valuable than the poisons, but that's something you could experiment with too. Again, like when I was doing the runs, I forgot Tomb Lord's freaking crit rate because I had changed his gear and was just focusing accuracy and HP, and I totally forgot about his crit rate. So maybe it could be a little bit more RNG, but giving it a try, definitely give it a try. Experiment with your champions, or if you're using Tomb Lord like I am, play with his A2 or his A3 turned on or off. But I don't suggest allowing both to be on unless you have another decreased speed champion in the comp, because you really need that debuff up and you want to make sure that he puts it up as much as possible. So it can be too risky if it's not. So yeah, there we have it. Solid start to playing and testing around with the Iron Twin Fortress Stage 15 and getting to use some amazing champions like our login champion, Deliana, and Ukko as well. So it's nice to be able to use Deliana in the end game. So there you have it, folks. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.